With us beginning a new arc in One Piece called Elbaf, which was highly anticipated. Another arc highly anticipated, Wano, has been critiqued at the same time, with some outright calling it a bad arc. I disagree heavily, and to me, Wano is one of the greatest arcs Oda has ever given us. And of course, this video is inspired by a video called The Arc That Shook My Faith in One Piece, which I found hilarious. I would be lying if I didn't admit the content creator was entertaining. Towards the end of the video, I watched the entire video all the way through. It just had me laughing. It was great. It was great content right there. But definitely got to talk about the Wano complaints, because I generally believe those complaints could be done to any One Piece arc, honestly, and hold no ground, the comedy aside. So today I explain why Wano is actually an amazing arc when it's all said and done. And honestly, put your seatbelts on because it's going to be a real deep dive for this one. Now, to talk about Wano, you have to talk about the arcs that came after Wano. And the first one is Egghead Island. It's the first arc of the final saga, and it's really fast paced. I think that's something that all fans can admit, that Egghead Island is not your typical One Piece arc. From the hectic fights that are not even happening on Egghead Island, from Law versus Blackbeard to Kid versus Shanks to Garp versus Aokiji. Like, there's a lot of, and there's Sabo and Imu. Like, Egghead Island had a lot of hecticness just from the beginning of the arc. And then you get in the end of the arc where you have Kizaru, Gorosei, Luffy, Gear 5th. Like, just insane moments. And the Yonko crew, because every arc after Wano is a Yonko crew arc because these Straw Hat Pirates have become Yonko. So this was definitely more fast paced and it had more crazy moments. As an arc, Egghead Island is probably one of the craziest arcs I've ever witnessed. And then you have Elbaf, and so far, Elbaf is giving Skypiea vibes, but you have to add in the factor of a Yonko crew entering the island. Like, imagine following Big Mom pirates, Kaido pirates, going to every island, Whitebeard pirates, or even Blackbeard when he became a Yonko, Shanks. Like, Luffy is a Yonko now, so when his crew, the Straw Hat Pirates, not the same old crew that we had before. Like, they are immensely more powerful, and it gets more entertaining because they have that Yonko status. And then of course Elbaf's giving Skypiea vibes with the island clouds and the sea clouds. Yeah, and the lore of Elbaf too as well. Low-key and the special 2.6 billion berry bounty, Shanks connection. Yeah, Elbaf is starting off amazing. It's giving Skypiea vibes, plus adding in other factors that make it very, very alluring as an arc. And then you look at the arc before Wano, that's Whole Cake Island. And Whole Cake Island was a little bit less chaotic. And let's be honest, it had one of the best fights in One Piece history in Katakuri vs. Luffy. Katakuri stole the hearts of many in the fan base. And then you had Big Mom getting a really fleshed out flashback. Obviously trying to get Sanji back, and that whole characterization there too as well. Whole Cake Island really was more less chaotic and more focus based as an arc if you're keeping it real. But I still don't think those arcs are better than Wano. Yes, Elbaf just started, so it could surpass Wano, and Egghead Island was insanely good with all those crazy moments, and Whole Cake Island was good as well. But I still don't think those arcs are better than Wano, because Wano, people are, I think, short-term memory. The shock of starting off Wano with Luffy versus Kaido right away, the strongest creature alive, the Yonko, and Luffy coming off a Katakuri battle on Whole Cake Island, who's immensely more powerful. This is one of the strongest versions of Luffy since the time skip, and Kaido washes him with the Thunder Bagua. He tanks all his strongest moves and he washes him, and it really gave us the impression of, yeah, Kaido is not falling easy. Yeah, Luffy's gonna have to really go deep in his bag, which he did, but still, the fact that we knew that really caused the threat. Kaido threat base was really good here. And then of course you add into the fact that Big Mom actually stood on business with her words she did during the reverie, saying that she was gonna pull up, and she did pull up with her, not just her, she pulled up with her crew. And to see Big Mom relaxing, chilling on Whole Cake Island in her territory, and seemingly look like Big Mom usually just chills in Whole Cake Island. She didn't go to Marineford when Whitebeard was going to, of course, save Ace. Kaido's the one that went to try to go to Marineford, and Shanks had to stop him. Big Mom seemingly looked like she's usually chilling. So to see her actually pull up to Wano and stand on business on her words because of what Luffy did really was entertaining. And then having King, the vice captain of Kaido, first thing doing anything in that arc is taking down the Big Mom pirates at Yonko's ship and sending them back on the waterfall, which caused really good damage because Big Mom lost her memories. of course. And of course, it took them a while. So the Big Mom pirates a while to try to get back up that waterfall. And of course, Marco kicked them back right in the beginning of the Onigashima raid. So yeah, I think that was really good as well. And then of course the whole prison of Udon, because the prison of Udon, you had Luffy in there. It's kind of like a training arc in the arc, because Katakuri was more so Haki blooming, which I'll be honest with you, Haki blooming, I don't mind it. I think it's actually a pretty good concept, but you have to understand that made me really stop power scaling, because Luffy was getting stronger throughout the battle, so it was hard to power scale Luffy because he can just get stronger with every battle he fights. But honestly, the prison of Udon brought back what we needed to see, which we didn't even see pre-time skip. It was actually something that Oda rarely does on screen. Oda rarely trains Luffy on screen. So to see Luffy actually training on screen, I think it was the first time actually, because I don't count like the time skip stuff because we didn't get to see all of it. So Luffy training a prison of Udon through Hyogoro, advancement armor haki, and not just one type of it, two type of advanced armor haki, was really good for his character and how strong he got. It wasn't looking no BS. It's like, okay, we're actually doing things to try to fight Kaido. We got destroyed, but we're trying to bounce back. And then of course we have Luffy's rival in there, Eustace Kid. We have the person running it is Queen, Kaido's next strongest Yonko commander after King. So it was a threat in prison of Udon. And then we add in Big Mom coming in there as well, because like that's just insane. Big Mom coming there. And of course, like Queen, Luffy, and Hyogoro couldn't do nothing there with Big Mom. Yeah, it was hype. I'll be honest with you, it was hype. Seeing her get her memories back was good too, because I was like, please don't have her lose her memories the entire arc. It's gonna be so ass. She gets her memory back, which I think Oda did a really good job doing that. And then of course we see Queen shitting himself because he knows, at the end of the day, Big Mom, the jokes aside, she's still a Yonko. So the prison Udon stuff, I liked it. While this is going on, we had Zoro versus Killer. We had Gyuki Umaru and Onimaru. Like, we had really good story elements. Yasui as well. Like, Oda was cooking not just through the prison of Udon. He was being very, very calculated with what he was doing in the beginning of Wano. And then of course we have to people fail to mention that Big Mom fought Kaido. Big Mom fought Kaido in the anime. It was more extended, but still Big Mom and Kaido went at it. Kaido said free her chains. She asked King to join her crew, which was crazy, and like that's just crazy. It reminded me of when Shanks asked Marco to join his crew when he was on Whitebeard's ship. And then yeah, they just do a Conqueror's Haki clash that split the skies. And they were going at it for the next couple of days until they came out of it saying, yeah, we're going to have an alliance and we're going to go for the One Piece and then we'll deal with this battle later. Like, honestly, two Yonkos aligning themselves together was unheard of. So Oda was revolutionizing the One Piece story. This is not seen before. Like, the Marines and the Warlord system is just to stop one Yonko from going at them. But having two Yonko, like, we had people made videos about it, like the hypothetical, but to see Oda actually do it, they would be the strongest force ever. And that's why Brand New said their bounty would surpass both Whitebeard and Roger if they combined themselves. Yes, they were now the greatest threat to the world government. And then of course we also find out about the warlord system being abolished as well, getting the reaction of all the warlords. It was kind of cool to see that they were getting chased for once. Like we all know that people always look at the warlords like they're just chilling and they're abusing their power. So to see them actually being chased for once, I thought that was a cool element to add that in the middle of Wano. And it really made Oda, like, I'll be honest with you, we're starting to look on the outside of things of the verse, like not the world building while the arc is going on. Oda really doesn't do that much during an arc. So to see that happening, we've seen it with Blackbeard and his Moria moment and talking about what's going on in the Reverie and everything. So to see it happen again in the middle of the arc was cool to see, guys. It was cool to see reaction base of different things. Usually we see it only at the beginning of the arcs and at the end of the arc. So see it in the middle of the arc, Wano was different. And people like just have short-term memory. Like rocks wasn't really developed in Wano. Like we literally had a whole chapter developing the rocks, the God Valley incident 38 years ago. A lot of the information we know about it is through a chapter in Wano, where we get Garp and team up with Roger to take out the rocks, and we get their entire crew of Rocks, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Shiki, Kaido, Wang Ji, Captain John, Silver Axe. Like, of course, later on we would see Clarissa and Stussy and other characters, but still, at the time, I gotta admit, Oda was really fleshing out Rocks and how he was Roger's greatest foe, and he was one of those guys who wanted to be king of the world. And honestly, I have to keep it real. Oda really did flesh out Rocks in Wano. So you have to admit, if it's a part of the arc, yeah, people might say it's not really Wano because it's like outside of Wano. It's more so like no, I still consider this Wano. And at the end of the chapter, they literally talk about Kozuki Oden, who had connections to Whitebeard and Roger. and how that's pretty much what's going on in Wano. That has the big relations to that. When Sengoku and Akainu were talking about this. So yeah, no, Oda was definitely in his bag with Wano. People have short-term memory, like no, he was cooking, like he was really going ham. And then in my opinion, the greatest flashback we've ever seen. This is me saying this, LegendMac with a Nolan profile picture. Everybody knows that Nolan is my favorite flashback in Skypiea. That's the reason why it's my profile picture. So for me to say that Kozuki Oden's flashback is the greatest flashback in One Piece, yeah, you understand why I'm really putting Wano in high regards. Like, and people understand. People are like, yo, we don't understand Kozuki Oden. We never really got connected to Kozuki Oden. I feel like Oda was literally just showing us that Kozuki Oden was Luffy. Kozuki Oden to me reminded me of Luffy more than Goldie Roger. And that might be a blasphemous statement, but the way he was chasing adventure, trying to leave Wano, ending up on Whitebeard's ship and Roger's ship, to end up on two of the greatest pirate ship at the time, is unheard of, and raising his family at the same time, like, and then coming back and writing that journal with Void Century, Willet D, and all the things he witnessed, and opening up Wano for Joy Boy. Kozuki Oden has an impact on the future of One Piece. He predicts what happens in, of course, the rooftop. You have to understand, this character is one of the most important characters, even connected to Zoro with Enma, and how Zoro is questioning how Kozuki Oden even controlled Enma, and Zoro went King of Hell and conquers Haki coding, and we learned that Kozuki Oden was using conquers Haki coding. That's how he slashed and scarred Kaido. And if he would have beat Kaido if he wasn't interrupted, and of course sacrificing his shame for, of course, the people, because what Orochi, the deal he made with Orochi, like, I'll be honest with you, Kozuki Oden's character is an amazing character. He's incredibly powerful, he's incredibly funny, hilarious, it's like a great personality, and of course his actions really were great, like the Hour of Legend. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, no, Kozuki Oden was one of my favorite characters ever. He literally reminds me of Luffy. He's literally a samurai version of Luffy. Roger was even interested in like the samurai. Like, no, Kozuki Oden and his flashback were A1 from Oda, and I don't know how people don't see that. And then of course Yamato. Like, I don't even know the hate towards Yamato. Yamato is a mythical Zoan, conquers Haki user that codes her attacks and conquers Haki as well, and is of course the daughter of Kaido, the Oni princess. She's not even human, and Kaido and her in that battle talk about how Kaido says you're not human, like they don't respect you, they look at you like a monster. Like, Kaido's own flashback, he's telling Yamato, you don't know how it is in the outside world because you've never stepped outside of Wano. You don't know how you're going to be treated. Seeing that father-daughter dynamic of her going against Kaido, and Kaido's trying to let her know how it's gonna be, and Yamato's like, no, I don't give a crap, I'm Kozuki Oden, reading Kozuki Oden's journal and her flashback, and of course being locked up with the samurai. And like, it's just, I'll be honest with you, Yamato's character and how, I'm not gonna lie to you, her relationship with Luffy and Momonosuke as well, like, there's a reason why people want her to join the crew, not just because she was powerful, it's because she definitely would have been a great crew member to have if Oda did it, but it was just overkill. She's too powerful. But still, Yamato's character is a great character, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't mind Yamato joining the crew. Honestly, I was all for it. And then of course the rooftop, like, Oda was already in his bag with Wano, but then he brought the Onigashima raid and everything that happened before with the, of course, the three captains and Luffy, Kid and Law and them, and then of course the whole Red Scabbards and the Kanjuro, and that twist that was just insane, how Kanjuro was the traitor. That shocked me as well. And then of course Luffy, Law, and Kid coming to the aid of the Red Scabbards. That was cool as well. But the rooftop, I'll be honest with you, the rooftop really was a game changer, because we have to understand, Kaido and Big Mom are waiting on that rooftop. And then we get the Ace and Yamato little sneak peek of that too as well. And Oden's journal, and how Luffy said the exact same thing Roger said. And then we get that chapter 1000. We saw the episode 1015. We saw the greatness that happened. Like, even the rooftop had moments of Luffy and the 5 figures that Kaido saw in front of, above him. Or Luffy and Kaido going out in Gear 4th, and Luffy's using Advanced Armor Haki, the training he got from Hyogoro. Or, of course, Zoro's using Ashura for the first time post-time skip and scarring Kaido and having Conqueror's Haki. And them separating Big Mom because it's too Kaido's, it's too powerful to fight. And then, of course, you have to understand the Conqueror's Haki coding awakening from, of course, Luffy, and changing the entire landscape of the battle. I'm telling you guys right now, the rooftop with Killer is even putting in work. Big Mom was hype. Everyone was doing their thing. Yeah, the rooftop was its literally own series. It could have been its own Netflix series, for goodness sake. That's how hype it was. And then, of course, we get Nico Robin's first fight since Skypiea. Guys, Do you know how long ago Skypiea was? Nika Robin got her first fight since Skypiea, and she's taking down a flying six in Black Maria, and Sanji was crying for her help. And the way she took down Black Maria, with of course the flashback of the revolutionaries and Fisherman Karate training, and that becoming a demon that which we saw in recently the last chapter in Elbaf. They were like pretty much dissing Nika Robin as a kid. She's a demon, she's a monster. So her owning up to it and destroying Black Maria. No. Seeing a 1v1 battle, yeah, Brook helped and everything, but no. Seeing a 1v1 battle of Robin since IP, we haven't got that. Yeah, Oda, thank you. We've been wanting that. We're getting fights that we've been wanting. And then of course Jinbei joins the crew. We got Jinbei joining the crew, something that we've been wanting since Fishman Island, and he finally joins the crew. And Jinbei's always been there for Luffy, even pre-time skip. He's done so much for Luffy, and he goes and fights Who's Who mentions his beef with Luffy, Jinbei's captain, about of course the Delph Fruit Luffy has and how Shanks stole it. And we also knew that was a teaser to Gear 5th. We got teasers of Gear 5th through a Fishman, Jinbei, and Who's Who. It definitely has to do with, of course, Joy Boy and Sangan Nika and everything, and how that ties into it, everything. And the racism Who's Who had as well, and Jinbei having more anger towards Who's Who, who's a former CP9 member who has CP9 techniques, but also has an ancient Zone Sabretooth, and also has great armored haki. And Jinbei breaks his armored haki fingers and goes full body armored haki and just destroys Who's Who with relative ease. That'll be his low to mid diff, and really solidified Jinbei as a top Yonko commander, in my opinion, in this battle. And of course, I thought that was just fun to see. And then of course, we got Sanji versus Queen. In my opinion, Sanji versus Queen. Sanji just is going through this mental thing of, am I Germa? Am I Germa? Like, am I gonna really, did I really just hit a woman right now? Am I changing who I am because my body is genetically changing? Like, Queen was able to break the bones of the greatest hockey users, and Sanji is literally going, like, he's breaking his bones, and Sanji's bringing them back together. That's how durable he is. And Sanji, of course, is breaking his sword that he's using. And Sanji is incredibly powerful and amplifies it with his own haki to get these blue flames, Ifri Jamba, and just destroys Queen in a crazy moment. Yes, Sanji gets a moment after we saw a lot of Sanji's taking a lot of post time skip. He has a lot of FE moments. So to see Sanji actually have a moment so fast that Queen can't even see him. Like, Sanji is incredibly powerful. People wanted this in Whole Cake Island. They got it in Wano. They got a Sanji epic moment in Wano that they wanted in Whole Cake Island. Think about that, guys. That is deep. And Queen was a great character too. Prison of Udon. He was just a funny, hilarious character that sings and dances, but was also powerful and has connections to the scientists of Mads. Like, everything. It was in the Germa as part of it, and Sanji breaking the raid suit. It's amazing, yo. Like, how can we say that Wano is shit when we're getting moments like this? And then of course Zoro comes back after Chopper heals him. All his bones broken after blocking a Big Mom and Kaido an attack. Mind you, right after that, he did Ashura and scarred Kaido. Like, Zoro already did his thing. In my opinion, if Zoro never did anything after this arc after he hit the rooftop, he still would have been highly praised by the fans. Zoro still would have been respected by the fans for what he did on the rooftop. Like, by Big Mom telling Kaido to dodge, it was unprecedented. The vice captain outshowing. I mean, honestly, Zoro was outshowing everybody until Luffy awakened Kankasaki coding on the rooftop. Yo, Zoro really was the MVP on the rooftop, and I was shocked because I didn't think he would be. So I'll be honest with you, I can say Zoro didn't need to do anything else, but then he comes back, gets healed by Chopper, and goes and fights King with Kankasaki coding, going against the Lunarian special rays, and we get a little bit of King's flashback with Kaido and Punk Hazard and everything there. And then of course, we see Zoro defeat King. It was insane because King was tanking Kankasaki coded moves by Zoro. King of Hell really was a game changer, and Zoro was just overkill. Now Zoro was just more badass than he already was. Like, Zoro was already badass, and now it's just like, okay, yeah, there's not even questioning it, guys. And then we get to the Yonkos, and of course, let's be honest here. The biggest question we had with the Yonkos is, how are we gonna defeat the Yonkos? And yeah, we get Kid and Law teaming up. Two Worst Generation members, two of Luffy's rivals, teaming up against Big Mom. And I didn't want it just to be Kid. I didn't want it just to be Law. I liked those two of them because it really showed how powerful Big Mom was. Oda wasn't just going to make Big Mom look crazy. He's going to respect her. And of course, it makes us look at Blackbeard defeating Law and Shanks destroying Kid even better because of what they did against Big Mom, awakening the Devil Fruit abilities, tanking so many of her attacks. Yo, she's using Contextualizing coding as well. She just one shot at page 1 with it. You think she's not using it against Kid and Law? The Usopp was literally claiming her Contextualizing because she was fighting on the same floor. Kid took a lot of the brunt of attacks from Big Mom. Law did a lot of the epic bone crushing moves through his Delphin Awakening on Big Mom. Kid with his last damn punk. Of course, them doing it multiple times. It was insane. The crews were celebrating too as well. Like even Kaido was mourning Big Mom's loss, and Luffy was so proud of Kid and Law. Like no, they did their thing. Big Mom's death was hype too, seeing her to mention Goldie Roger and how she's not done to Kid and Law, she's gonna come back. Like we're still talking about Big Mom coming to Elbaf because of this fight. Think about that. And then of course right after that we get Luffy, Gear 4th, coding in and Conqueror's Haki coding, and Snake Man and Bounce Man and Supreme Kong guns, and yeah, he's really putting the damage on Kaido in this battle. And of course we also know Zonisha's pulling up. It's just all the way hype. And then of course CP0 interrupts, which is the same thing that happened against Kuzuki Oden, and Kaido is really upset about it and actually destroys and kills CP0's Guernica. And in my opinion, the greatest moment of Wano, Gear 5th Luffy. Like if you had to be there when this was going on weekly, guys, Luffy was literally the drums of liberation. Joy Boy was here, and he was awakening his Delphin. But the Gorosei came in to do a little ad-libs about it too, and start talking about how Gear 5th Luffy is the most ridiculous power in the world, and just like how they've been chasing him for 800 years. And to see the lore of Joy Boy and Luffy combined together, it was hype. And honestly, he was matching up when he was fighting Kaido. He was doing his thing. Even Kaido was like, yo, this crazy white form awakened Delphin Fruit while also coding your attacks in Armor Haki and Conqueror's Haki coding. Kaido was on how powerful Luffy was. And to top it off, he brings out the Bajirang gun that Kaido faces head on with his magma form. And yeah, Luffy does it. He wins. He beats Kaido. 1v1, bet on Kaido. Now Luffy had help. The Red Scourers did their thing as well, which was pretty cool to see. Of course, Luffy had help. They did their thing against Jack as well. And of course, Perospero, and Nekomushi and Arashi. And of course, the Red Scourers had epic moments throughout the arc as well. Izo and the CP0 and everything. But Luffy had help with the Red Scabbers, the rooftop, Yamato, like even Momonosuke had a bite off of Kaido. Like, yeah, everyone helped out Zoro with his scar and Kaido. A lot of damage was done to Kaido, and he's lifting Onigashima as well. But still, Luffy did it. At the end, it was Gear 5th Luffy versus Kaido, and he did it, and he put down Kaido. And the strongest creature alive lost, and Kaido said, the only person that could beat me is Joy Boy. And it was Joy Boy. And then, of course, Kaido's flashback as well. I actually enjoyed Kaido's flashback, which is surprising a lot. People were like, oh, it's a slideshow flashback. It's not really entertaining. I enjoyed Kaido's flashback. We got, of course, Kaido when he was a kid, Kaido when he was a teenager, Kaido before he joined Rocks, Kaido when he joined Rocks, seeing Kaido's kingdom and how they did him dirty. And then, of course, seeing Kaido after Rocks when he's, of course, with the Korozumi and getting help there. And of course, seeing how it all panned out to, of course, what actually happened on Wano. Now, of course, I do think it was a good flashback, but it was shortened. And I believe that's the reason that is because Oda wants to give Kaido more highlight in the Rocks flashback, which we already seen in, of course, Egghead Island. So, yeah, I think Oda does everything for a reason. So, Kaido not getting a Big Mom level flashback, there's a reason for it. So, I'm not jumping the gun like many fans are. But still, the short things we saw, I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. I want more, actually, if anything. The final point I want to make is, there was 2 Yonko on this arc, guys. Big Mom and Kaido. And they both fell from the Yonko status. And it actually made sense. Who would have thought that? Which is hard to do when the only characters that could defeat them were not on the island. Think about that. The only characters that could defeat Big Mom and Kaido were not on the island. And they still got defeated, and it still made sense. That to me showed teamwork in, of course, the Onigashima raid, and how the numbers were dwindling and how the CP0 was commenting on the numbers dwindling. It was an epic showcase here. This Wano arc is going to be remembered to the end of times, and the fact that Oda completed this, I gotta give respect to respect is due. Oda did his thing. Now, in my opinion, Wano is actually this might be a crazy statement, but I think it's actually the best arc in One Piece, because it combines Enies Lobby aspects and Marineford aspects, and those 2 arcs were my favorite arcs before Wano. So I have to give Wano the best arc, and I haven't even reread it fully. Like I've reread Wano like time and time again, like chapters of it, like probably like 80 to like 70% of Wano, but a full reread from start to finish. Like I just go back to different chapters and read it for, of course, videos and topics and everything. But week to week, you got people hating, honestly, the breaks. But if you reread this arc, you will see why it's so goated. Like people need to understand that Oda put a lot of epic things in this arc. It's one of the longest arcs, if not the longest arc in One Piece, and for a good reason. So yeah, to me, Wano is the best arc. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest arc because it's a personal opinion of mine, but I think you can't call Wano a bad arc. To call Wano a bad arc is one of the most shocking things I could see, and I just doesn't understand it. Like, how long have you been a One Piece fan? Like, I've been a One Piece fan for years, and Wano is better than so many arcs. So for me to say that Wano shook my faith in Oda, no. If anything, Oda got better after Wano, in my opinion. Like when it comes to how fast paced he's doing, I love this fast pace in Naked Island. I love what's going on in Elbaf so far. But Wano to me is the best arc, and I think as a One Piece fan, like if you're a true One Piece fan, how can you hate on Wano, guys? Like I just can't understand that.